Breaking news, Ben Simmons hitting free agency once again. The buyout market picking up already. I'm Trevor Lane. This is the Basketball Bulletin. Make sure you subscribe right here to the channel. Great trade deadline. We had a lot of news to cover. We appreciate all of you who have joined us on this journey. All right, here's what's going on. Ben Simmons finalizing a contract buyout with the Brooklyn Nets to become a free agent. Sources tell Shams Charania and Brian Windhorst. Simmons will meet with the Cavs and Clippers starting Friday as he decides his next home. Okay, so let's talk about the buyout process a little bit. Let's talk about what's going to happen here with Ben Simmons. First and foremost, though, this makes a lot of sense. Had a feeling this was going to happen typically around the trade deadline. Teams don't like word getting out that they're going to buy out a player. Why? Well, because if it did, then teams are more reluctant to trade for that player because they'll say, well, we can just sign that player for free on the buyout market. So a lot of times teams squash any talk of a buyout, but pretty clearly nobody was going to trade for Ben Simmons' $40 million contract. Good Lord. One of the biggest overpays in the NBA right now, but that will not be the case once he signs with his new team here. What's going to happen is he's going to get bought out. He's going to give back some money, and typically the amount the player gives back is usually the exact same as the amount they're going to get on a minimum contract with their next team. That is pretty standard in the NBA. Sometimes in extreme cases, you'll see a player give back some money, but in addition to that minimum salary, but typically pretty standard, they'll give back the same amount that they're going to get on the minimum contract with their next team, which means for the player, it's a net neutral. It doesn't change anything for them. Meanwhile, the incumbent team gets back at least a little bit of money. And in this case, the Brooklyn Nets, look, they're terrible, but that's okay. I love what Brooklyn is doing. I think they've got such a bright future now, especially they get a nice high draft pick, all of that. They needed to pick a direction. I think they're in a much better position than they were back when they had Mikal Bridges and before they made these moves. I think they made some really nice moves. Look at this. They've lost so many games. They're not even on the screen here right now when I'm looking at the East. There we go. So now Brooklyn sitting in 12th right now in the East. There's the potential, since the Raptors started winning a few games, that they could drop down even further and could get passed by the Raptors. But the bottom line, the Brooklyn Nets, it's all about this. It's all about the draft. It's all about draft capital. It's all about the lottery and what they can do there. Right now, if the draft stayed chalk, they'd be the 6th seed, but they also have a 37% chance of getting a top 4 pick in a loaded draft. They're not worried about winning games right now. 28-year-old Ben Simmons, no, we're going to cut you loose and see you later. Have a good one. Obviously, things didn't work out with that trade landing Ben Simmons. That was part of the James Harden deal, but the 76ers are going to move on. Meanwhile, Ben Simmons himself, well, let's talk about what he can bring to his next team and where he should land. But first, let's give a quick shout out to our sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. Prize Picks does a fantastic job. Daily fantasy sports. You guys can check them out. Use our promo code Bulletin. Get a guaranteed $50 when you play at least $5. Go check out Prize Picks. Again, use that promo code and use the link in the description down below. Make a few quick selections here. Let's go. Bam Adebayo against those Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, I have a feeling he'll be just fine to do that. And amid rumors that Trae Young might want out of Atlanta this summer, that could be a big piece to the summer trade market. I'm going to say Trae Young has a big game with those rumors swirling. And of course, we got the Super Bowl coming up this weekend. Let's go take that Patrick Mahomes free square. $10 on that one would win $50. Go check it out. Use the link in the description down below over on Prize Picks. All right, so what is Ben Simmons bringing to his next team? Where should he land? Well, 6.2 points per game this season. You got 5 rebounds, 7 assists. So that's a little bit of a challenge, right? He'll have the ball in his hand. He likes having the ball in his hands. Look, he's a former all-world defensive player. I mean, came in second in the Defensive Player of the Year running in 2020, 2021. So he can be a phenomenal. He just hasn't been that guy in a long time. If you look for the Nets, played 33 games so far this season, started 24, but he's not going to need to be that on whatever his next team is. And that's where the value flips, right? For the Nets, is he worth $40 million? Hell no. Not anywhere close. He's not worth $40 million, but Is he worth a veteran minimum, which is what he's probably going to sign for with his next team? Yeah, he's worth a veteran minimum. He can come in there off the bench, give you some rebounding, give you some versatile defense. Is he going to handle the ball a ton? That remains to be seen, especially depending on which team he actually winds up with. But Ben Simmons can give you some all-around stats. We know he can be a little bit shooting allergic, where he really needs to shoot the ball, and he's just not going to do it. He's not going to do it. We've talked about it for years. We've seen the offseason workout videos for years of him hitting jumpers and all this stuff and thinking, okay, this is the year. Finally, Ben Simmons, he's going to get it go. Nope. We're done. We're done with that. I'm not holding my breath anymore waiting for Ben Simmons to start to become the player that we all anticipated him being when he came into the NBA. It looked really promising when he was in Philly, had back issues, had the holdout, the mental health stuff. He's not the same guy anymore. He's just not. And that's okay. On a minimum salary, he could still be a positive contribution to one of these teams. Now, if he's on the Clippers, I think the Clippers could actually use another ball handler. They could use somebody else that can come in, that can handle the basketball a bit for them. But they've got James Harden obviously doing a lot of the heavy lifting there. And they did just add Bogdan Bogdanovic, who can give them some secondary creation ability. But I think Ben Simmons could be more of a ball handler on the Clippers. I think that's a team that could use somebody else that can be an initiator on the offensive end. You've got shooters to hit with passes. You've got Bogdanovic. You've got Norman Powell, who's had a phenomenal season. And so the Clippers do make sense. Plus, the Clippers have a very, very strong defensive identity as a team. This is one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. And that's been really what's kept the Clippers afloat this season, has been how good they've been on the defensive side of the ball. You take a look at this. Yes, OKC is running away with the defensive numbers, but the Clippers coming in second. Again, my God, every time I look at this and I see 103.9 is the defensive rating for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Meanwhile, the Clippers at 108.3. The Clippers are having a phenomenal defensive season. Just the Thunder are that much better. It's unbelievable how good their defense is. I mean, look at this. The best defense in the NBA last year did about what the Clippers are doing right now. 108.4 defensive rating last year for the Wolves. Right now, those OKC Thunder, 103.9. Absolutely insane. But this is about the Clippers. Clippers defensive rating, really, really good. Again, better than last year's best defensive rating. And I think that would make them a natural fit for Ben Simmons. But I would not count out the Cleveland Cavaliers. This team also makes it, especially if Ben Simmons says, you know what? I just want to win. I just want to win a championship. Let's go. Certainly the path through the Eastern Conference, much less perilous than the one through the West that the Clippers would have to take to make a real run here. The Cavs already the 1 seed in the East, so they make some sense just right there, already being the favorite to come out. But then also you look at the East, if the Cavs stay in the 1 seed, most likely you're not going to have to really exert yourself until you get to the Eastern Conference Finals. See, right now, I think the Knicks are very clearly in a tier by themselves, right below the Cavs and the Boston Celtics. Maybe they can get up and become a 3-team top tier. But right now, I've got the Knicks a tier below. But I'll tell you what, both the Celtics and the Cavs, they don't want to play the Knicks in the second round. That's the most difficult matchup that's available in the Eastern Conference. So if you're the Cavs right now, your playoff path would look like something like, let's say, I think Orlando would probably get that 7 seed. I trust the Magic a bit more than the Pistons right now. But let's say it's the Magic or the Pistons in round 1 for the Cavs. I would prefer to see the Pistons if I'm the Cavs. A new team, young team. Magic are young too, but I think they have a bit more firepower. But let's say you get Detroit in round 1. Then you would get Milwaukee or Indiana in round 2. Again, you probably don't want to see Giannis, but you shouldn't struggle too much with those. And then you'd play the winner of most likely Boston and New York in the Eastern Conference Finals. And that's where you'd really be taking on a big-time challenge. But if you're Ben Simmons and you're looking and thinking, hey, man, I just want to make a deep playoff run. That's all I want to do. The Cavs offer clearly the easiest path to doing that and to potentially get into the NBA Finals. That's really the trajectory the Cavs are on. The challenge being the Cavs already have Darius Garland. You've already got Donovan Mitchell. They're going to handle the ball quite a bit. Those guys can handle it. Ty Jerome can act as a secondary creator for them. They did lose Karis LeVert in their trade yesterday. They picked up DeAndre Hunter, who's much less of a ball handler than LeVert is. So that's something to factor in, where maybe they could use a little bit more ball handling than they could have, say, yesterday before the trade deadline. But less of a path towards handling the basketball, I think, with the Cavs, but more opportunity to advance and make a deep playoff run, which is something that tends to matter. Remember, buyout market players, they're looking for three things mostly. They're looking for opportunity. They want minutes. They want to be able to show that they deserve their next contract. That's an important thing. They are looking for a place that can win. Those are the two most important things. They want to be able to make a deep playoff run. And, well, they're looking for a team where they think they're going to have a good time and be showcased. That's what they're looking for, is a team where they can really show off their talents based on who's going to be playing around them. So what's the best fit for Ben Simmons? Looks like it is the Clippers or the Cavs. Final reminder, everybody, if you are a tier 1 apron team, you are above the first tier apron, these teams are not eligible to sign a player like Ben Simmons. You can't sign anyone on the buyout market that's making more than $12.8 million, which is the mid-level exception. So teams like the Lakers, teams like the Celtics, those teams are not landing spots for Ben Simmons. It's teams that are below the first-tier apron that can sign him, could sign Bruce Brown if he were to get bought out, though that's probably not going to happen. We'll see, though. But any player that gets bought out that's making more than $12.8 million, yes, that includes Dennis Schroeder, Lakers fans, the tier 1 apron teams cannot sign. All right, everybody, let me know your thoughts. Where should Ben Simmons go? What's the best place for him? I'm going to be a homer here, and I'm going to say the Cavs. I think the Cavs make the most sense, make a deep playoff run, and I think there's opportunity there for him to really fit in with that team. But you guys let me know. Give me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Where should Ben Simmons sign, and can he make a difference at this point in his career? Don't forget to subscribe right here to the channel. Till next time, see you, and stay safe.